National Wolf Center in Ely is opening a new exhibit showcasing findings from the Voyageurs Wolf Project. Leaders say the exhibits highlight the good, the bad, and the ugly side of wolves in Minnesota's North Woods. Northern News Now's Jack Wiedner visited the Wolf Center to see why this research is more important than ever.
Starvation, Adaptation, and Survival is the International Wolf Center's newest exhibit. Grant Spickelmeyer with the Wolf Center says those three words tell a story.
Summer's a tough time for wolves in northern Minnesota. Their natural prey can get away from them pretty effectively in the summer, and they have to rely on other food sources.
The new space depicts findings from the Voyageurs Wolf Project, showcasing wolves' diets, environmental impacts, and profiles on individual wolves. Project lead Tom Gable says most of their research happens in the summer months. It's nearly 10 years in the making and is different every day.
We're hiking out to spots that wolves have spent time to try to see if we can find a predation event, into abandoned dens to take measurements, collect samples, sometimes collaring wolves.
The exhibit opens at a contentious time for wolves, with some calling for the gray wolf to be removed from the endangered species list. Gable says that decision is ultimately up to lawmakers. What he wants to do is provide data.
Having good information about how a species behaves is very helpful for understanding their conservation status. And so hopefully our work provides a lot of good information for folks who do have to make those decisions.
Through the Voyageurs Project, he hopes to paint a more well-rounded picture.
There are cute, fuzzy moments where wolves are with their pups, and then there's moments that are kind of rough, where they're consuming prey and eating prey alive. And there's moments where the wolves themselves are starving to death.
Understanding an animal that remains a big part of Minnesota's environment. In Ely, Jack Wiedner, Northern News Now.
That new exhibit opens a week from today and will wrap up this fall. The Wolf Center plans to continue using the space, featuring new exhibits from year to year.